name is Adam Fielder, and Candy Reid alongside myself in the commentary box. Candy, starts don't get much tougher, I guess, for Tsisipas than against Cressy today.
Yeah, this is not easy because we know what Cressy brings to the table. But he has shown a few weaknesses in recent weeks, the French-born American. It's called the match. He played French player Constant Lestienne, and the forehand really broke down. Lestienne went slow to the forehand side of Cressy, and he didn't quite know what to do. He started trying to hit over it, lifting his head, he was shanking, and then he started to slice. So it is somewhat of a weakness if Tsisipas can keep Cressy back. That's what he's going to try and do. Cressy is very, very good, as we know, coming forward. We're going to see a lot of aces today and perhaps a couple of tie breaks.
In a beautiful rhythm. Someone that pretty much religiously will hit 2 first serves, Maxime Cressy, and it can get him into a little bit of bother at times. I mentioned in that opening set against Ivashka, double faults were coming pretty freely. He has so much confidence in that second serve. His first serve percentage on the year is just about over 60%, so I guess he works on the basis that odds are he's going to land one of 2.
It's a percentage game, isn't it? We know that if you win 55% of points in a match, you're going to win it in straight sets. If you win 52% of points in a match, you're probably going to win it in 3. So you don't have to win all the points.
Yeah, Barry Cowan and I actually during Astana were going through, it's so sad we are, we're going through
I wasn't going to say anything.
That's what I was thinking. It's a good leave from Cressy. But we're going through some of the, the best seasons that players have had. You think of Federer in 2005, 2006, and how many points, the percentage of points that Federer actually won over the whole course of the season. And I think he was something like 92 and 6 in 2006. And he won 56% of points, that's it.
I think it was a similar story in Djokovic 2011.
Yeah, I think it was 56% as well that same year.
Incredible. Just puts it into perspective, doesn't it?
Nadal on clay in his career has won 56% of points. So it seems to be 56 is kind of the pinnacle.
Yeah, that's the magic number.
Yeah. But it sounds a very... it doesn't sound a lot, does it, winning just 56% of points, but if you're doing that, you're on for a pretty special season.
And it is, as we know, so tough at the top. All these players are outrageously good, really putting in the hours. They're not playing matches. It's a full day, isn't it? Hours in the gym, hours of rehab, hours on the court. He's working on the mental side, which is much more of a thing now. Extremely important. It's something that Tsisipas has spoken about. Does struggle from time to time in that regard. He's got a very unusual mind, the way his brain thinks. A philosopher, as he says. He's Greek, after all.
Quickly did well with the first one though, Cressy making that volley pretty tricky for Tsisipas.
It's just great to see these guys with all-round games though, isn't it? Tsisipas, one of the best volleyers in the world. He didn't do quite so well there, but it was very, very difficult. But he's so happy to come forward. It's a real part of his game he's worked on.
absolutely no alarms on serve early on here for Tsisipas through as well to the quarterfinals. Excuse me, Ellie Zima, that was the first round match, wasn't it, today against
The final first round match.
Yeah. Dealt with that one well. A slam on the brakes there.
So clever from Cressy. Trying to take that ball out of the air whenever possible. That is the right thing to do. But he knew just wasn't going to get there. So he takes a little step back, guides the backhand up the line. Good composure in a tricky situation.
Definitely his favoured serve on that ad side. Maxime Cressy, the flat one out wide, directs a lot of his second serves into that area as well.
It's a much easier serve with his height, because of course you've got the height over the net. Trickier for shorter players to get the angle. Ball was really dipping off the Tsisipas return. He did well there. You could see it looked like a quite easy volley off the Cressy backhand, but in the end he was hitting the ball down by his knees.
Disappointed that he's missed that one. It was a stunning return from Tsisipas. Cressy actually did a good job just to control that half volley. He looks in a much better rhythm serving early on in this one than he did against Ilya Ivashka in round one, Cressy.
All the players talk about, don't they, difficulty of the first match in any given tournament. And that is this for Stefanos Tsitsipas, having received a bye.
First set, when they played at the US Open a couple of years ago, did go the way of a tiebreaker. Would be necessarily surprised if at least one of the sets they play out today goes the same way.
Didn't need to be quite so perfect, did it? Even though Cressy was making his way forward, it's going to be very difficult for the American to get there.
Yeah, two shots that he's been working on. Tsitsipas, the drop shot and the backhand slice, just trying to add a little more variety to his game. Backhand slice can sometimes, it just floats a little. Nicely done. Someone like Grigor Dimitrov really knifes that backhand slice, can get it to keep very low. Matteo Berrettini, actually, a lot of people think the slice is very much a defensive shot, but it can be used as an attacking shot as well when you get it right.
Yeah, very much depends on where you are on the court. 'Cause you want to float the slice a little bit if you're behind the baseline, because you want the depth. When you're coming forward, you really want to knife it and keep it low so the opponent has to hit up on the ball.
chance off that forehand. Sometimes can let him down.
It's just such a hard shot, taking it down the line. I think the sensible option there is to go back cross court, try and recover accordingly.
So after two very stress-free service holes, Tsisipas now having to try and save an early break point. Oh, and Cressy went all out, sensed an opportunity and well and truly took it. Didn't really see that coming, the way that Tsisipas. First double leads the tour this year, Maxime Cressy. In terms of double faults per match, he averages 8.2 a match, so when you put that into context, he's basically giving away 2 games every match he plays on his own serve. It's 6 in the opening set against Ivashka.
It's just part of the game, though, for him, isn't it? Something that Elias Eva spoke about in his post-match presser. Just gotta run with the rough and the smooth. Expect a few doubles, especially guys got a big serve and a big game like Cressy. It's risk and reward. Often it will pay off, and sometimes it won't. Nothing wrong with just mixing it up once in a while, throwing in a slow serve, not coming to the net. Keep your opponent on their toes.
Characteristic miss for Cressy.
Sometimes those volleys are actually the hardest. The ball hangs in the air so long, and by the time you get there, there's nothing on it at all. Almost would have been better perhaps just slicing that cross court. Good duck there from Cressy.
Big serving, isn't it? 222 kilometres an hour.
Of course, no wind, no sun, no conditions to stop that ball really flying.
Cressy backs up the break. 4-2 now. Final right at the start of the year did Cressy in Melbourne and lost to Rafael Nadal, and Rafa was very forthcoming in his praise about Cressy after that final. Said that he's going to be incredibly uncomfortable for every single opponent that he plays, and it certainly has worked out that way. I don't think anyone enjoys playing Maxime Cressy. Cressy. He was 15, 16 years of age. Excuse me, back in 2015, 2016, when he was a college freshman, UCLA wasn't even in the team's singles lineup. Basically at number 6 in their squad, which essentially put him at the bottom of their entire roster. So it has been a quite remarkable rise for Maxime Cressy.
He sort of moved his way up, didn't he? 3 or 4, and then by the time he was a senior, he was playing number 1 in the lineup. Finished in the top 20. Number 1 doubles player in the nation. His teammates said he was a really, really hard worker. Sort of settled on a game style along with coach Billy Martin there at UCLA. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Good return from Cressy. He always had the big serve, did Maxime Cressy, but not a lot else by all accounts. When he was younger, not a lot of variety to his game. Didn't have a kick serve, he wasn't volleying particularly well, he didn't have a great return, so really had to work on quite a few areas of his game. It's good from Tsisipas.
Really is an art form, isn't it? The one-handed backhand. This poetry in motion, a massive strike.
So stays in touch in this opening set, Tsisipas, but he has the rather ominous task of having to try and break the max. Return from Tsisipas.
Looking at the placement of Maxime Cressy's serve, and you're absolutely right, Adam. He hasn't hardly gone down the tee from the outside, preferring the one out wide. We'll see if that continues.
Probably got a little predictable against Ivashka at times, but able to send it down at such a pace that even if you kind of know where he's going, it's still pretty tricky to deal with. Yeah, it's a wonderful return from Stefanos Tsitsipas. He'll definitely be targeting that backhand Cressy today on the return, but he's found a beauty there as the Greek. And again, into the backhand, Tsisipas makes the return, and he's never missing that forehand pass. 3 breakback points.
Cressy just hasn't got first serves in this game. Tsisipas has made him pay severely. Done well with the second serve return, dipping that ball down. excellent second serve, it had to be. Still looking surprisingly for his first ace in the match. There it is.
By magic.
Cressy also playing doubles this week, along with J.P. Smith, former Tennessee Vol.
Well, he's not served too many double faults for him today. This one, a costly one. And Stefanos Tsitsipas back on serve in this opening set, 4 games all.
It was a really bad service game, wasn't it, from Maxime Cressy? Around a first serve and gets severely punished for it. First serve percentage below the 50 mark. Gets a little bit tight in the arms from the baseline, just Cressy, both on the forehand and backhand, needs to stay nice and loose.
Yeah, did well, stayed alert there, Tsitsipas.
On that short ball, isn't he? So quickly approach deep, volley short.
That was smart. Straight back down the middle there. Just see Cressy tumbling over to that left-hand side. Much more like it from Stefanos Tsitsipas, trailed by a break, but now in front at the crucial moment, and a bit of pressure. Oh, goodness me. What a volley from Maxime Cressy.
Well, it had to be good, but in truth, the first one wasn't particularly. A bit of a slap on that forehand. Needed a little bit of composure to come around the outside of the ball, and the first volley should have really got it done. He allowed Tsitsipas to have a big swing at that one, and did brilliantly using those long levers of his.
The cleanest, but he will take it.
That's a great point, Tsisipas, how fast he's moving around the court, just trying to get one more ball back, throws that one up high. Again, an easier shot indoors than outdoors generally. Smash.
to love. There we go.
Cressy again using the wide one, the ad court. It's been a really good year, hasn't it, for Cressy? Be interested to see how he builds on it in 2023. What more players know about his game. The element of surprise won't be there next year. Should really have had 2 titles in 2022, although Taylor Fritz might argue that one, but Cressy, I think, felt very disappointed in that, finally lost to Fritz in Eastbourne.
Oh, absolute bullet of a return.
That must be the goal really for Cressy next year, to keep working on the return, because if you can break, although it didn't help him in the early parts of this set, can usually wrap things up.
Beautifully done from Tsisipas, a classy way. Yeah, great hands. Actually a very awkward volley, but he made it look pretty simple.
Excellent work from that low volley, just carves around the inside of the ball, slightly nice soft touch.
I'd love Cressy to just use that shorter volley at times. I think all the time he sets the point up beautifully with a big first serve, but then the volley just goes a little too deep, straight back at Tsisipas there. Gave him another chance. I know he missed the lob, but it could have got a little awkward. Tsisipas is so far back behind the baseline, he just throws in that little drop volley or short-angled volley. Chances are Tsisipas isn't going to get another racket on it.
Tremendous serve, right into that corner. So difficult for a one-handed backhand player. The easier option is, of course, to chip it back. You can't really beat someone who's coming to the net with that shot. The only choice is to try and drop it low, take the pace off the ball. Serve percentage continues to be a bit of a problem though for Cressy. decided to go with the short volley. A very difficult shot to hit precisely. Better on those low ones, really just to tuck the ball deep into the corner and wait for a better chance.
Sublime touch from Maxime Cressy. The lovely volleys that he's hit in the last few minutes into a tiebreaker we head.
It's been a high quality set so far, hasn't it? Some exquisite winners. That was amongst the best. Surprisingly, Maxime Cressy actually has a losing record in tiebreakers. That's in 2022.
That's a super return. Onto it in a flash. Tsisipas, I think, as I mentioned, can get a little predictable, that Cressy serve, and Tsisipas just waiting for it on that backhand side.
He really caught hold of the return, didn't he? Exquisite from Tsisipas this time.
Now the double, well, he thinks it's a double, he's going to challenge. Which it is. So it's the nightmare start to this tiebreaker for Maxime Cressy. Interesting, now you just saw him walking over to the corner. He always carries two rackets out. At the end of each sit down, he has one racket for serving, one racket for returning. So he's just put his serving racket down and picked up his returning racket. Not too many players do that. Marcelo Melo sometimes does it. Doubles player. Imagine the serving racket maybe strung a little looser.
Looser strings means more power, tighter strings more control. Right now, Cressy doesn't have much of either.
It's horrible, isn't it, when you work so hard in an opening set. Really out there for, well, not far off an hour. And 5 points into the tiebreak, you're 5-love down.
Tsisipas has a really good record in tiebreaks this year. 64% success rate. And he's odds on to take this one as well.
Did well there, Cressy. Tsisipas stretching for that volley. Looked down and out in the point.
Steph is probably cursing himself. He didn't go straight at Cressy with this short backhand. Tried to go up the line, just push it there. Didn't have much power behind it, and Cressy guessed correctly.
So just about stays in touch here, Cressy. Still be some kind of miraculous comeback if he can turn this tiebreaker around.
A brilliant return, but the Cressy pickup was magnificent. That was so difficult. So Steph's got to be really confident now. He's returning beautifully, seeing the ball really nicely. Just getting to get a little edgy here. It's 5-love up, now back to 5-3. Became a very big point for Tsisipas, and it brings him 3-set points. It's a well-worked point, isn't it? Such a crucial stage. Just that ball deep into the Cressy backhand. Tried to go up the line, going over the high part of the net, couldn't quite convert. Another outrageous pickup from Cressy. Outrageous is a very good word. That was an incredible return. Hits it so beautifully. You'd expect Tsisipas to win that point. I think he's quite surprised. Quality of the volley. Yeah, off the cheek said it all. So we'll ask the question of Tsisipas. At one stage, this tiebreaker looked like it was going to be very routine, but 2-set points have now come and gone. Last one coming up at this time behind the #1 seed's racket. So, Stefanos Tsitsipas takes the opening set. Only Jake in that opening set, but Tsitsipas did a very good job in turning it around. It's going to be Cressy to start us off here in the second. Oh, not the cleanest, but Tsitsipas will certainly take it. We spoke about the percentages of how many you need to win a match, and it was pretty close in that opening set. Tsisipas had 37 of the points, Cressy 35.
He won the point. That's what I mean about him becoming a little predictable with the serve. Not sure if we'll get a replay of it, but before Cressy had even hit the serve there, Tsisipas just took a little step to his left. He knew exactly where the serve was going. Not on that occasion he didn't, but it's more the ad side I'm talking about, that he tends to go out wide the majority of the time.
Oh, the serving patterns are absolutely, like you say, Adam, about 80% going into the backhand side of Tsisipas. That means down the tee from the right and out wide from the left. Just mixing things up on that last one.
Brilliant from Stefanos Tsitsipas. Amazing defending early on there, a couple of wonderful lobs.
Well, how do you lob? Player of 6'7", 201 centimetres, just like that is the answer.
He got the perfect start to set 2 here, the number 1 seed, 30-all.
Wide aces in this game, just to keep Tsisipas honest. That's good change-ups. So constantly be re-evaluating and thinking things through. Very much like a game of chess.
All going off in the chess world, isn't it, at the moment? Cheating scandal.
Make the player accused of cheating is setting a play. That's a one-handed backhand player though. Gasquet only has to go halfway up the grip, so it takes half the time.
Quite emotional on court. Cressy, you see a lot of the time him having dialogue with Roman Tsisipas, who's certainly at him more often than not against Ivashka. Just see Tsisipas just telling him to relax.
Is that the universal sign language?
Well, I'm assuming so, yeah.
Relax. 13. You get that a lot at home, don't you?
All the time.
Very relaxed service motion from Tsisipas. It's that wide base, the platform stance rather than the pinpoints that most of the players prefer. No right way, no wrong way though.
Nearly trickled over, didn't it? But Tsisipas off to a nice start. A hole to love.
1 game on.
Encouraging sign for Cressy is that Tsisipas has lost 5 times this year when he's won the opening set. One of them was in the Labour Cup. I guess they don't do the proper scoring system in the 3rd set, do the match tiebreaker, but there's also a couple of times to Nick Kyrgios after winning the opening set this year, once at Wimbledon, of course.
That was a memorable match.
It was. And another in Halle. And there's other 2 towards the start of the year. Jensen Brooksby in Indian Wells.
So those long levers pays off. Difficult to get the ball past. 15-11.
The other time was his very first match of the year, the ATP Cup against Diego Schwartzman. Lost from a set in front, but it doesn't happen too often. Just 5 times in 50 matches this year when he's won the opening set. Good second serve from Cressy.
14-10. Such a good play there on the shorter ball. Rather than trying to pass a very tall person, go straight at them.
Fairness, he was very impressive that week. Djokovic, that semi-final that he played with Daniel Medvedev, that was such a shame that we weren't able to watch a 3rd set of it, with Medvedev somewhat surprisingly retiring at the end of the 2nd, but I get the feeling Djokovic could be in for a pretty good end to the year. I don't think he's down to play either of the 500s next week. So we'll see him in Paris at the start of November, and then Turin, as I said, trying to win that title for the first time since 2015. Amazing though that Tsisipas has still not won an ATP 500 level title. That's 9 finals now that he's been in, and all 9 he's lost.
And it's not like he can't get over the hurdle at the 1,000
Yeah,
level.
exactly.
2 titles in Monte Carlo.
Yeah. and winning the Nitto ATP Tour finals as well. So he's on some big tournaments, but something about those 500s that he just can't master at the moment. I'm sure it won't be long until he changes that.
More importantly to him will be winning one of the big ones, won't it?
Yeah.
Got so close at last year's Roland Garros. 2 sets up on Djokovic. And that's how tough the Serb is. Incredibly difficult to beat him over 5 sets.
It'll be very interesting to see if Nadal decides to play Turin. Of course, very surprisingly, he's never won the Nitto ATP Tour finals.
The doctor who works with him says that it's pretty healthy now, he's been training. But of course, he might be waking up at nights these days.
Yes, quite possibly. Made the final a few times when it was held at the O2 Arena. Lost to Federer and Djokovic in 2013.
It's just not the best surface, is it, for Nadal's game? A little bit too fast generally on the indoor courts. Although at this year's Labour Cup, they said it was pretty slow. It'd be interesting to see what Nadal's motivation is now. Now he's a father. Might change his perspective somewhat, especially given all the injuries he's got. It's meant to be a ticking time bomb.
Out on the practice court, like 2 days after baby Raphael was born. So he certainly doesn't seem to have lost any of the hunger to get out there and...
Probably trying to get out of the house.
Well, true, yeah, don't blame him at all, actually.
You want me to change the nappy? I'm off. Just trying to see if he can see a ball mark. Challenge, so there must have been one. Tsisipas does his little pacing back and forth.
Just about. Tsisipas is challenging, not with a huge amount of optimism, I don't think. So he has stayed put. Maybe he does feel this is just wide. And it is. Good challenge. Just got a little uncomfortable, this service game now. 40 love up, back to 40-30. Oh, and now Juice. Good return from Tsisipas. 3 points in a row.
Big moment here for the Greek player. Trying to make his move. Especially if Cressy doesn't land a serve. Oh, and that was a real opportunity. Wasn't a good first serve, was it? Placements, I think he was trying to go for the slider wide.
pace. Surprised since you...
Under 7 from Tsisipas, who's been going down the tee around 31% of the time from the ad court. Favoured side is a tee serve from here. And throwing in the wide one about 33% of the time from the deuce. Tough shot to pull off, coming on the inside of the ball there. Could have just slipped that ball into the backhand side of Cressy. Didn't need to go too close to the sideline. That shot's never going to be a winner. You're going to have to try and hit a volley after it.
I just love how Tsisipas transitions to the net. In my opinion, the best in the world. As soon as he latches onto that forehand, he's almost running through the forehand to come to the net. He sat in the right position today. Roman Tsisipas was forced to move in Cressy's opening match against Ilya Ivashka.
The coaches usually sit on the side, don't they?
Yeah, well, he was,
one end or another.
Yeah, he was sat directly behind the where Cressy would sit, the change of ends, and umpire was not happy with that.
This time, Tsisipas staying out of trouble then.
At the moment, it's looking like, should we just fast forward to the tiebreaker?
That's another excellent return, tipping that ball down. Really has returned well, but that's the quality of the first volley from Cressy, the fact that there's only been one break apiece.
Struggling behind the second serve in this set. Cressy just 2 of 7 points behind it. Cressy barely having a look at a second serve on the Tsisipas serve. Only missed 2 first serves so far in this set as the Greek. And again, punishes him, Tsisipas. Half an opportunity this now at 15:30.
Might be worth once in a while for Cressy just not to come in behind the second serve, just mix it up. Because often you can actually gain a mistake by your opponent looking up and seeing where you are. Might catch Tsisipas by surprise.
Oh, what an opportunity that was for 2 break points.
Need a little bit more follow through, that's what he's saying to Dad. contact and follow through.
Miles behind, telling him to be quiet.
Tsisipas taking his frustration out on his dad, I think. It's often the one closest to you that gets the brunt of the frustration. Not easy being a tennis parent.
This one he makes. Right on the line. Great move after he hit the return there, Tsisipas. He was already recovering it into the centre of the court, ready for the next ball.
It was just such a narrow gap, wasn't there? And he manages to find it. A little flick of the wrist this time. He does follow through accordingly. Comes round the outside of the ball.
Oh, wow. Well, that is a forehand he would make 99 times out of 100.
Well, he decided to go cross-court, and when you do go cross-court, you're, of course, catching the ball a little bit earlier. So this one may have been better to go down the line, just like he went before. Got to rely on your instincts, though.
Nice volley. Good game to come through, but Tsisipas. Just gave him a slightly different look. Charging to the net off the return, but no panic at all from Tsisipas.
Like that play from Cressy, though, putting pressure on right away. It's a decent return. You just never know in a crucial situation. Tsisipas might miss that.
Great hands. Did well to get up to the drop shot as well, did Cressy.
I have to say, I was expecting a lot there from Tsisipas. He got Cressy so close to the net. Would have been an ideal time just to loop that ball over, preferably over the backhand side, just in case you slightly undercook it.
Difficult volley that he had to hit. And now half a chance for Cressy.
Well, the approach shot from Tsisipas just not deep enough, really. He allowed Cressy all the time in the world to line up. His backhand did well, they didn't need to keep that ball low.
Oh, it's a wonderful forehand to finish off. A very good point between the two of them.
Great composure. Athleticism of both men showing up, but eventually it's Tsisipas who gets the shorter forehand. 12th winner of the set.
Got away with it slightly there. First time in the set that he's been put under any kind of pressure on serve, but let's find a way through.
He was being creative.
Yeah. Are we heading the same way as the opening set? Coming into this match, Cressy had played 13 tiebreakers in his last 18 matches. Goes back to the start of the tournament in Newport on the grass, which he won.
He was down 6-2-3 love, wasn't he, to Alexander Bublik in the final of Newport. Managed to find a way back. Third final, third time lucky.
He's done well to control that.
Just keeps his hands nicely out in front of him. That's very important because this ball's coming fast. Don't really need to add much pace to the volley, just absorb what's given to you. And he did brilliant with the racket control. Just keeping that wrist nice and firm.
Oh, underneath the racket. Shouldn't mean too much in the context of this game. It doesn't. The ace to come through.
Tsisipas serving up some volley himself. Incredible that Has a 91% success rate when he does land the first serve. That's in the entire match.
Yeah, simple holds for Tsisipas as we head towards the business end now of set 2.
Tsisipas has returned better than Cressy in this set. Try and make a move right here in the 11th game. Just misses that backhand punch. He has won 11 points off the Cressy serve. The American, meantime, has taken just 3 off the Greek. That one too hot to handle. 14. It's Cressy's biggest serve this set, 219 kilometres an hour, or 136 miles an hour.
Yeah, no alarms. And again, guarantees himself at least a breaker here, Maxime Cressy. Pressure on Tsisipas to try and hold and take it.
Looks like we might have a third love game in succession.
Yeah, which we do. So just like the opening set, a tiebreaker required in the second. A nod of the head from Tsisipas.
Tsisipas got off to such a strong start, didn't he, in the first tiebreak? 5-love lead. Eventually whittled back, but he got over the line, 7 points to 5. He served up a couple of double faults early on, got him into a bit of strife. Second match in a row where we've had back-to-back tiebreakers, because the one involving Oscar Otto and Elias Ymer also went the same way.
It's come back his side. So the first mini break goes the way of the American.
Had options, of course, to play for France. Did Maxime Cressy. His mum's American. Two-time NCAA champion at University of Southern California in volleyball. And that's perhaps where he got some of his height from.
Just wide, super point from Tsisipas.
Just finds his way in a very good, deep approach. Didn't need to hit the volley as a result.
Wonderful return from Stefanos Tsitsipas to get that mini break back.
You can see how Tsitsipas has done so much better on return than Cressy. And I think he'll be very, very pleased with the way, particularly he's returning on the backhand side. He hasn't been content just to chip it back. He's been swinging freely. Not easy with that one-hander.
Again, he read the serve. Tsitsipas, he moved early. Got a good hit on that backhand, and he wins both points on the Cressy serve there.
He moved incredibly early, didn't he? Tsitsipas taking that step to his left. Don't look at the camera.
4 points in a row for the #1 seed after a slow start to this tiebreaker. He has slowly taken control, and look at that, 90% of points won behind his first serve today. Incredible numbers.
Stolos doing well to keep Stum. Just some encouraging words, nothing more than that. Said in the past, he doesn't listen to his father anyway. The whole family do still travel together though, with Stefanos the source of income. It's quite an unusual dynamic.
Good response though from Cressy.
4-3, Tsisipas.
Good hands, well covered. Late in the day here in Stockholm, 10 past 11 at night. They were we'll have a couple of minutes left. We still could have an hour or so left.
Been a big improvement on the first serve percentage, moving from 47% from Cressy in the first set to now in the 70s. Commentators curse.
Huge second serve. There's no other way, Cressy. Pressure situation there, 4 points all. Most players would be tempted just to kick that one in, but not Cressy.
And there's only 2 kilometres an hour on average between the first serve speed and the second serve speed from the American. And it's completely different from Tsisipas. 35 kilometres an hour difference between his first and second delivery.
God, that's a very late challenge from Cressy. I'm surprised he's been allowed to. Tsisipas had already hit the next forehand away for a winner. He then challenged the serve. Tsisipas would have loved that if that had been out. Fortunately for him, it is in. So big point coming up. Will it be a match point or a set point? It will be the first look at a match point.
And no doubt Tsisipas will make a guess here which way it's going. He'll move early, particularly if Cressy lands the first serve.
Oh, well, he got a racket on it. Just wasn't able to control it. First match point saved.
Well, the quality of the first shot after the serve from Cressy was right out of this world. Kept it so low. Tsisipas was up there, but not quite able to control the racket angle. Another player who can slide so well on hard courts.
And finds the ace. And after saving a match point, he now has set point of his own.
That's moving just a little too early on that occasion, I think. That was always Federer's ploy, wasn't it? He kept his eyes on the returner as long as he possibly could.
Good first serve. So match point saved and now a set point saved. And again, into that backhand, same response. The return into the net. And Tsisipas with match point number 2.
Loss has been here before. Doesn't get any easier. Will it be a fun dinner or a bad one?
good change-up, in fairness to Cressy. Tsisipas would have been expecting the one out wide, just sends it down the tee.
Now Cressy has a decision to make because Tsisipas has been going early to his left, covering the tee. Perhaps Cressy will go wide again.
Double figures on the ace front now for Cressy. Exactly the same place he went last time. After saving 2 match points, Cressy now with his second set point.
Receiving a little advice here for the return to serve. First order of play, get it back in.
Oh, he had a look at a second serve. Once again, the backhand into the net off the return. On we go, 9 points each. Brother and dad looking a little anxious.
At this point, dinner's off.
Yeah, it is. No, it's going to be open. 11:15. Big injection of pace on that last forehand. It was a little cagey, the exchange, but Tsisipas decided to take matters into his own hands.
Just got a little bit more firepower, doesn't he? From the baseline, Mum and Dad approve. Mum, the top player herself.
Now what does he do? Match point down. Does he still go big?
Go big or go home. You can hear the tension in the crowd. I think you said he averages 8 double faults a match. It's only been 5 today.
Not the second serve, that is under pressure. Amazing, really, that he does only have 5 double faults when he is literally hitting 2 first serves every time.
That is immense. The depth on that serve. No guts, no glory, I suppose, is the way that Maxime Cressy plays his tennis.
match point saved. Another set point coming up for Cressy. And again, it's Tsisipas that just has that little bit of added firepower and control on the forehand. Another set point is saved, and on we go, 11 points each. Neither player so far, Tsisipas has got the score wrong. Thought he was changing ends, I can't blame him. She did that in Astana against, I think it was Andrei Rublev in his semi-final. He had no idea that he'd won the match.
Now that is focus.
Match point number 4. Yeah, neither player has had a match point or a set point on their own serve yet. Oh, good hands. I wasn't sure whether Tsisipas was going to take the forehand up the line or not.
These guys just get massively into the zone, don't they? Don't even know the score. They're just playing every point on its own merits. There's a story from Cressy in one of her books. She said she kept running into a chair which was on the side of the court, never actually moved the chair. It just kept happening and happening, and only afterwards she was told, "Why didn't you move the chair?" She said, "What chair?"
So now they do swap sides. Oh, yes. This time, Tsisipas finds the return. And this match point will be on his own deal. Stunning backhand return from the #1 seed. Will that be enough to get this match won? It is. Stefanos Tsitsipas safely through to